Some castles look like history. These look like someone pulled them out of a fantasy movie. Around the world, there are real castles built on volcanic rocks, tidal islands, mountain peaks, cave mouths, and cliffs so dramatic they seem too perfect to be natural. Some inspired Disney, some survived sieges, some look less like buildings and more like dreams made of stone. Today we're counting down the top 9 fantasy castles that look too unreal to exist. Stay until number 1, because the final castle may be the closest thing on Earth to a real-life fairy tale fortress. Before we begin, tell us in the comments which kind of castle feels most unreal to you. A cliff, castle, a mountain castle, or a castle surrounded by water. Himeji Castle does not look like it was built to sit still. It looks like it is about to spread its wings. Rising above the city of Himeji, the castle gleams white against the sky. Its layered roofs curve outward like feathers. The walls, gates, towers, and winding paths climb up the hill in a carefully controlled maze of stone and wood. From a distance, it looks elegant and peaceful. But the closer you get, the more it becomes clear. This beauty was designed to defend. Himeji Castle is often called the White Heron Castle because of its bright white exterior and graceful roof lines. It is one of Japan's finest surviving examples of original castle architecture, and unlike many castles that were rebuilt after fire, war, or earthquakes, Himeji survived for centuries. The white plaster was not only for beauty, it also helped protect the wooden structure from fire. That means one of the features that makes Himeji look magical also helped it survive. It is not just a pretty castle, it is a defensive machine wearing the mask of elegance. Himeji has survived Japan's violent periods, modernization, war, and natural threats. Today, it stands as one of the country's most treasured historic sites, drawing visitors who come to see not only a castle, but a preserved world. It looks like something from a fantasy game, but every wall was built with real danger in mind. But as graceful as Himeji is, the next castle looks far heavier, darker, and more battle-scarred, a fortress built on the bones of an ancient volcano. From Japan's White Heron Castle, we travel to Scotland, where a fortress rises from a volcanic rock above an entire city. Edinburgh Castle does not look like a fairy tale palace. It looks like a castle that has survived everything thrown at it. High above the streets of Edinburgh, the castle sits on Castle Rock, a dark volcanic outcrop rising sharply from the city. Stone walls cling to the summit. Towers and battlements overlook the rooftops below. From the ground, it looks less like a building and more like a warning. The rock itself feels ancient. The castle feels even older. Edinburgh Castle occupies one of the most naturally defensive positions in Europe. Castle Rock is the hardened core of an extinct volcano, with steep sides that make most approaches nearly impossible. For centuries, the only practical way to attack the castle was from one narrow direction. That is why the castle became such a powerful military stronghold. It controlled the city, watched the surrounding landscape, and played a major role in Scotland's history. Edinburgh Castle has been described as one of the most besieged places in Britain. Its history is filled with battles, changing rulers, political conflict, and royal drama. It also houses the honours of Scotland, the Scottish crown jewels, and the Stone of Destiny tied to centuries of coronation history. This castle is not fantasy because it looks delicate. It is fantasy because it feels like the final fortress in an epic war story. Standing on the ramparts, you can see the city spread below and understand why generations fought to hold this rock. Some castles look unreal because they are beautiful. Edinburgh looks unreal because it refuses to disappear. Chambord was called a hunting lodge. That might be the most ridiculous understatement in castle history. In the Loire Valley of France, Château de Chambord rises from the forest like a city of towers. Pale stone walls, blue-gray rooftops, chimneys, turrets, and spires crowd the skyline. From above, it looks like someone built a royal maze and gave it a crown. It is symmetrical, enormous, theatrical, and completely excessive. Exactly what a king wanted. Chambord was commissioned by King Francis I in the early 1500s. It was officially built as a hunting lodge, but its scale belongs to royal ambition, not practical hunting. The castle has hundreds of rooms, dozens of staircases, and a roofline so complex it feels like a fantasy city. One of its most famous features is the double helix staircase. Two spiral staircases twist around each other but do not meet, allowing people to go up and down while seeing each other through openings. Tradition links the design to Leonardo da Vinci, though the connection is not proven. Still, the idea itself feels like something from a puzzle palace. Chambord reveals how kings used architecture to turn ego into stone. Francis I did not just want a building. He wanted a monument to power, taste, and royal identity. Centuries later, the castle still works exactly as intended. It overwhelms people before they even enter. But Chambord is fantasy through royal excess. The next castle looks like it was carved into the edge of another world. From France's Renaissance masterpiece, we travel to Spain, where a palace fortress holds the last glowing memory of a vanished civilization. The Alhambra does not overwhelm with size. It overwhelms with beauty so detailed it feels almost impossible. Above the city of Granada, the Alhambra stretches across a hilltop in warm stone and red walls. From outside, it looks like a fortress, but inside, it becomes something else entirely. Courtyards open into carved arches. Water runs through narrow channels. Delicate patterns cover walls and ceilings like lace made from stone. Light moves across tilework, columns, and shadow in a way that feels designed to slow time. The Alhambra was nearly destroyed after centuries of conflict and neglect. During the Napoleonic retreat from Spain, parts of the complex were damaged, and according to accounts, a Spanish soldier helped prevent further destruction by disconnecting explosives. A monument that feels eternal came dangerously close to being erased. The Alhambra carries the emotional weight of an ending. It represents the final flowering of Moorish Spain before Granada fell in 1492. The story of the last ruler leaving the city and looking back at the palace one final time gives the place a sadness that no fantasy writer could improve. It is beautiful because it was powerful. It is haunting because it was lost. But the Alhambra is a palace of memory. The next castle was built for war and survived not through beauty, but through brutal military genius. From Granada's dreamlike palace, we travel to Syria, where one fortress became the ultimate crusader stronghold. If you could visit one castle so far, would you choose the white elegance of Himeji, the volcanic power of Edinburgh, the royal excess of Chambord, or the carved beauty of the Alhambra? Drop your answer before we reach number 1. Krak de Chevaliers does not look like a castle built for fantasy. It looks like a castle built to survive the end of the world. Perched on a hilltop in western Syria, the fortress rises in massive stone rings. Thick walls wrap around inner walls. Towers stand like stone giants. From a distance, it looks heavy, silent, and almost impossible to take. There is no softness here, only defense. Krak de Chevaliers is considered one of the greatest crusader castles ever built. Its strength came from concentric defenses, an outer wall, an inner wall, towers, gates, and defensive spaces arranged so that attackers would be exposed again and again. To capture it by force, an army would need to breach one barrier, then face another stronger one behind it. The design turned the castle into a layered trap. The castle resisted siege for generations. According to historical accounts, it eventually fell not through a straightforward assault, but through deception involving a message that convinced the defenders to surrender. A fortress that could withstand armies was defeated by belief. Krak de Chevaliers shows that fantasy castles are not always romantic. Some are terrifying because they reveal how much intelligence humans poured into war. Every wall, angle, and tower was built around fear, survival, and control. It is beautiful in the way a storm is beautiful. But Krak de Chevaliers is a fortress of war. The next castle looks less like a fortress and more like a royal vision floating above the clouds. From Syria's legendary Crusader castle, we travel back to Germany, where a mountaintop fortress rises like a castle in the sky. Hohenzollern Castle looks unreal on a clear day, but when clouds fill the valley, it becomes something else entirely. High on Mount Hohenzollern in southern Germany, the castle stands above forests and rolling hills. Its towers, walls, and pointed roofs rise from the mountain peak in perfect fantasy silhouette. On misty days, low clouds cover the valleys below. The castle appears to float above a white sea, detached from the world beneath it. It does not look built, it looks summoned. Hohenzollern Castle is the ancestral seat of the Hohenzollern family, one of Europe's most important dynasties. The current castle was built in the 19th century as a romantic reconstruction, designed to honor the dynasty's medieval origins. That is why it feels so cinematic. The castle is actually the third major structure on the site. Earlier castles were destroyed or fell into ruin before the current version was built. So what visitors see today is not simply a medieval survival, it is a romantic vision of medieval power, rebuilt by later generations. For the Hohenzollerns, the castle was a symbol of origin and legitimacy. For modern visitors, it is one of Germany's most photographed castles because it delivers the exact image people imagine when they hear the words, "castle on a mountain." It is both real history and constructed myth. But Hohenzollern floats above the landscape. The next castle is swallowed by it, fused directly into the mouth of a cave. From Germany's castle above the clouds, we travel to Slovenia, where a fortress grows out of a cliff. Predjama Castle looks like a building that should not be possible, half castle, half cave, and completely real. In southwestern Slovenia, a massive limestone cliff rises above a valley. At the mouth of a dark cave, stone walls, windows, towers, and rooms are built directly into the rock. The castle does not sit in front of the mountain, it enters it. From below, it looks like a fantasy fortress hidden in the side of a mountain, as if the rock opened and allowed humans to build inside. Predjama Castle was designed around the cave behind it. The natural rock gave the fortress protection, hidden space, and secret routes. The castle's location made it extremely difficult to attack because enemies below faced both stone walls and a cliff. Inside, rooms transition into natural cave passages. One moment, you are in a medieval chamber. The next, the ceiling becomes raw limestone. Its most famous story involves Erzem Lueger, a rebellious knight who reportedly survived a long siege by using secret cave passages to bring supplies into the castle. According to legend, he taunted the army outside by showing that he still had food. The castle turned the mountain itself into a lifeline. Predjama is powerful because it shows how humans can merge architecture with nature instead of simply building on top of it. The fortress used the cave as part of its body. That is why it feels so unreal. It is not just a castle near a cliff. It is a castle and a cliff becoming one thing. But Predjama hides inside rock. The next place rises from water and tide, transforming from island to fortress as the sea moves around it. From Slovenia's cave castle, we travel to the coast of France, where a medieval abbey rises from a tidal bay like a vision. Mont-Saint-Michel is a castle that belongs to the sea. Rising from a tidal bay in Normandy, France, the abbey fortress is built on a small rocky island. It looks like a stone mountain of spires and walls growing out of the sand. At low tide, the island is surrounded by dry land and mud. But as the tide comes in, the sea rushes across the bay, surrounding the mount and cutting it off from the mainland. It is a shifting, moving fantasy. Mont-Saint-Michel was originally built as a monastery, but its strategic location made it an ideal fortress. Over centuries, walls and defenses were added to protect the religious site from invaders. It is famous for the extreme tides of the bay, which can move with incredible speed. For pilgrims and soldiers, the bay was a dangerous maze of sand and water. For modern viewers, it is the definition of a fairy tale island. For more than 1,000 years, people have approached Mont-Saint-Michel as pilgrims, soldiers, villagers, prisoners, tourists, and photographers. It has been sacred, strategic, isolated, crowded, threatened, restored, and admired. Its greatest trick is that it changes with the tide. Twice a day, the world around it is rewritten. But even Mont-Saint-Michel, with its island silhouette and medieval spire, is not number one. because the final castle may be the one that shaped the fantasy image of castles in the modern world. For number 1, we go to Spain, where a real castle on a rocky point became one of the greatest visual ancestors of the fairy tale castle. Number 1 is the Alcazar of Segovia, a real castle so visually perfect that it feels like the original blueprint for fantasy itself. In central Spain, the Alcazar rises from a rocky crag where 2 rivers meet. Its shape is unlike most castles. It narrows forward like the bow of a ship cutting through stone and sky. Round towers stand at the edges, capped with blue-gray pointed roofs. The central tower rises above the whole structure, watching over the city of Segovia. From below, it does not look accidental. It looks composed. The cliffs, the rivers, the towers, the sharp stone prow. Everything comes together like a painting that somehow became real. The Alcazar of Segovia has lived many lives. It has been a fortress, royal palace, prison, military academy, and archive. Its strategic position made it valuable, but its appearance made it unforgettable. One of the most important moments connected to the castle is the rise of Isabella I of Castile, one of the most consequential rulers in European history. Her reign, alongside Ferdinand of Aragon, helped unify Spain and launch an era that would reshape the world. The castle also influenced the modern fantasy image of castles. Its silhouette is often linked to the inspiration behind Disney's Cinderella Castle, meaning a real Spanish fortress helped shape the dream castle image that millions of people grew up with. That is the strange loop. A real castle-inspired fantasy. Then fantasy taught the world how to see castles. The Alcazar matters because it proves that fantasy does not always come from imagination first. Sometimes imagination is copying reality. Before we had digital worlds, there were real builders placing stone on dangerous ground. There were kings, soldiers, architects, and workers turning power into shape. The Alcazar is proof that human beings have always known how to build symbols, not just shelters, symbols. A castle like this tells the world, remember who ruled here, remember who stood here. Remember what stone can say when people want power to last longer than a lifetime. The Alcazar of Segovia earns the number 1 spot because it feels like the bridge between real history and the fantasy world that came after it. It has rivers below, towers above, a rocky throne beneath it, a royal past inside it, and a silhouette so unreal that it still echoes through the castles of movies, theme parks, storybooks, and games. Many castles look like fantasy, but the Alcazar helped teach the modern world what fantasy should look like. That is why it stands at number 1. Not because it escaped reality, but because reality was already magical enough. The strangest thing about these castles is that none of them were created by computer graphics. They are real stone, real history, real ambition, and real human imagination. From Himeji's white elegance and Edinburgh's volcanic strength, to Predjama's cave walls, Mont-Saint-Michel's Little Island, and the Alcazar of Segovia's fairy tale silhouette, these places remind us that Earth already contains worlds that feel impossible. Which castle looked the most unreal to you? Would you visit Mont-Saint-Michel, Predjama Castle, Hohenzollern, Neuschwanstein, or the Alcazar of Segovia first? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy documentary-style rankings about history, architecture, ancient places, and unbelievable locations around the world, subscribe for more. In the next video, we'll explore real places on Earth that look like they belong on another planet.